Hello, I'm Sophie, and for today's devotion I want to think about change and handling change in our lives. Recently I read a lovely picture comparing different types of change to being like the seasons. We can have change that sometimes feels like the approach of spring. There's a anticipation of summer, of something new happening, of new life, and it's like those first buds on the tree or the flowers starting to show in those warmer mornings. And equally, change in our lives can feel like the approach of winter. There's a loss, there's a fear of that it's going to be a long, hard winter. There's a loss and a sense of grief as well. And change in our lives can be either of those things, it can be both of those things. But how do we walk through change? How do we handle change in our lives? For us as a family, a couple of years ago, we possibly had the biggest change we could ever have in our life. And we'd found out that I was pregnant, and we'd gone for our first scan at 6 weeks. And the doctor said we had a really healthy heartbeat. And so we came home and we rang our parents excitingly and told them the news, and extended family and different people. And then we went for our second scan at 16 weeks. And the doctor told us that we had two very healthy heartbeats and that we were expecting twins, not just one baby. And suddenly for us, our lives completely changed. The way that we were going to do the next few years just seemed to completely change. Our future suddenly seemed unknown. The pregnancy was suddenly higher risk. The birth was unknown. How we were going to cope with the first few months was just completely different. And for us walking through that time of change, we really held on to this verse that I'm going to share with you. And it's been a verse that has kind of defined our marriage and our family life over the last few years. And it's from 2 Corinthians 5 verse 7. And it's this, we walk by faith and not by sight. We do not base our journey and our going forward just on what we can see. We base it on God. I love the description of faith in Hebrews 11 verse 1. It says this: faith is the assurance of things hoped for, the conviction of things not seen. Faith is the unseen. It's that conviction in God of I'm going to go forward because of God. So in change, what do we need to do? We need to fix our eyes on God. He is our assurance. He is the assurance of things unseen. He is our conviction. He is our peace. He is our promise in our future. He is our guidance and our rock. In Psalm 46, David is writing and he's saying, the mountains may be crashing into the oceans and the whole world may be coming apart. But God says, be still and know that I am God. In times of change, your life may feel like that, like your whole world is coming apart, like the mountains really are crashing into the ocean. And God is saying to you, be still and know that I am God. Fix your eyes on God in times of change. And secondly, I've found over the years when there's been really big changes, or there's changes that have gone on for a long time and they've just been quite hard, that I've had to sit down and take time out and just remind myself of God's truth, because I get so caught up and consumed in what seems like truth of what is going on at the time. But I need to sit down and remind myself of God's truth. His promises that he's given to me, that he's spoken to me, words that have been spoken over me, promises in his Bible, the truth of him that already working in my life and how I've seen his faithfulness. Times of change, they're not just to be endured and I'm just going to hold on and I'm going to weather the storm until the end and I'm going to climb out the other end a survivor and then I can carry on with life. That's not what God has planned for us. In the times of change, he is there with us. He is standing next to us. He was in the fiery furnace with Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego. He was in the boat with the disciples in the storm. He was in the lion's den with Daniel. In those times of change in our life, he is there with us. He is working. He is speaking. He is pouring out his love on us. He has not left us alone. And he is faithful in all of those times as well, whether it's a short period or a long period. I hope you've been encouraged by today, and I hope that whatever time of change you may be going through at the moment, that you will walk by faith, that you'll fix your eyes on him, and know that He is God. Have a great day.